The Three RoOs podcast. Welcome to the Three RoOs podcast. Today there's only two of us. Rich may show up late, but I'm Tyler. Co-host is Seth, and today we have my friend Patrick as our guest. Patrick and I played high school football together, known each other for 19 years, I think, at this point. So it's been quite a while.
Yeah, 19.
2004. Holy shit. So yeah, Pat is one of my best friends. He's helped me a lot through some of my running races and keeping me accountable, and helping me at some low points. And I think he's a very interesting gentleman. So I think we have some good topics today to discuss. The first one being Pat has really taken up tennis in the last 3 to 5 years. I forget the timeline, but
5 years.
5 years. Okay. And there's a sport that I never would have guessed any of our friends group in high school would have played, but I think Pat can talk about why he got into it. We had talked about it over the weekend too, so I think it's fresh on his mind. And yeah, Pat. So without further ado, let's talk about some tennis.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the exciting world of men's recreational tennis in your 30s, I guess. But I guess the reason how I got into tennis is I love sports. I'm always going to play sports. Doesn't matter how old I get. I want to play some type of sport. And after football, you can only play so long, and it's over. So I was like, okay, played basketball too. I'll keep doing men's leagues. Did that for a while. Played basketball nonstop, and then one day I was playing basketball at LA Fitness, and someone tripped and literally fell into my face, like kind of like launched like a missile in the air, and busted my face open. I had to get stitches in my face. I hate needles, and I really hate needles in my face. It's bad enough when it's in the arm. I hate needles so much. And yeah, I was like, well, I'm done with this. You have to go to work with stitches in your face. Everyone thinks you got in a fight. Like, no, I was playing basketball. But everyone who gets in a fight says they were playing basketball. So then no one believes you. So it's just stupid. It's like, all right, how much longer do I have until I tear my ACL? How much longer do I have until I pop an Achilles? It's like, it's inevitable. A sport like basketball, not traditionally thought about as a contact sport, but a ton of contact. You're jumping up in the air, you're falling down. People are jumping up with you. You can land on someone's foot. You can land wrong. It just, I'd hate to lose my athleticism or my ability to move well any earlier than I should as you get older. And, a catastrophic injury like an ACL or Achilles will do that to you. It's like, okay, what other sports are there? Golf, there's no running in that. You can't really get any better at golf by running faster or trying harder. If you stink at golf, you come out probably with calories, net positive from drinking beers and hot dogs. Right?
Straight.
Well, tennis is cool. At least if I stink, I can run around a lot, at least get good exercise. And it's just me on that side of the court. No one can fall into my legs. I messed around with a little bit of it as a kid, never did anything serious. So I said, I'll give this a try. I used to watch it with my dad and my grandfather growing up. And I love it. Been playing nonstop ever since.
You're saying you really like the individual challenge, which is a lot different than the basketball or football sports. We had to play when we were younger. The individual side of it is a different experience, and maybe a little bit more rewarding, and because you can't really get the team experience the same way it was in high school or college for college football or basketball. So I guess my question for you have a tournament coming up this weekend. What are you doing to prepare for that?
Well, first about the individual part, yeah, I like it a lot. It's a lot different. You're playing when you get older as an adult, you're playing team sports. If someone stinks, you can't be like, well, you stink, you got to go sit on the bench. Well, they paid money too. They're entitled to play. So the accountability really isn't there. And with the individual sport, it's just you. If you're getting beat, you can't switch off and guard someone else. You can't sub out. You got to figure it out. And tennis is also interesting because it's well, maybe there's another sport, but it's the only sport that I know of where the opponent gets a point when you screw up. So like in basketball, to score, I've got to be good enough to get by you or good enough to hit a shot, right? In tennis, I can just keep dinking the ball back, and if you miss it, I get a point. So
Pickleball. Pickleball's
the
another.
accountability on yourself and the mental aspect of it, you could lose to a parking cone if you're off one day. You can't hit the ball on the court, you can't win.
Right.
But in terms of my preparation for this weekend, I don't know. I just try to play a lot of tennis, maybe about a week in advance. I got some friends I play tennis with. I play a lot of it, and then probably today, going up till the weekend, I'll just rest, make sure I'm ready to go. Try to find the balance between playing and being rested.
So is the ranking system the same for every state? Is it basically the same? And could you explain how the ranking system goes for
Yeah, it's a little
as
complicated.
easily as as
the
easy as you can
ranking
break it down?
stuff, I don't know. I'd say the individual tournament stuff for like adult recreational tennis is much less popular than team tennis.
Okay.
So the thing that I'm doing this weekend is like team tennis. You have a bunch of friends. You play 2 singles matches and 3 doubles matches. So in total, like 8 people get to play in a meet, and then whichever team wins 3 or more of those matches wins the meet. That's really popular because it's social and stuff like that. There's a few people that do like adult tournaments that kind of do them sparingly, and you get points for your ranking based on how well you do in those tournaments. But I'd say that's much less popular than like the team tennis.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what's like, I don't know if you want to call it training or practice, or like I think back to we all played high school football, right? And football practice was, individual drills, and then there was, team drills, and then all of our favorite, calisthenics, running, all that fun stuff. So what's like your training, your practice, what's that look like for tennis? Do you just go play matches? Do you work on individual skills?
I love playing matches, but I don't think you do get better in some aspects, but at the level that I'm at, which is, kind of like an intermediate level, you really need to refine the fundamentals. The reason why you lose is typically not like, well, I'm not match tough enough, or I didn't have the right strategy. It's like, no, I couldn't like hit my forehand that day. I couldn't, the guy kept hitting to my backhand stinks, or I couldn't close out points at the net. There's typically some type of flaw in a key aspect of the game that you're missing. So sometimes when you're hitting with friends, sometimes we'll do drills, just like cross court shots, or we'll practice our volleys or something like that. But I have a decent mix. During the wintertime is probably the best example. Summertime, I probably just play a lot just because I like to get outside. When the wintertime, I have like 2 sessions per week, which are just all drills with a group of folks. And it gets real cost effective because you have like 6 or 7 folks with one instructor. You can get that to like $20 for an hour and a half, $25 for an hour and a half. That's real cost effective for tennis, at least. And then once a week, I'll play like a match. So I think that's about a healthy, for my level at least, I found that to be healthy, like 3 or 4 days of drills per like 1 day of match.
What kind of workout are you getting during these practices?
Yeah, that was my next question.
And matches. I know you're telling me some of the calories you've been burning, and some of these days when you play a lot, it's a pretty high number.
What's the question? How many calories do I burn?
Yeah, like what kind of workout are you getting while you're doing this? What kind of
Crazy.
calorie burn are you seeing?
Yeah, let's pull up the old Fitbit app here.
Oh yeah, you're still using Fitbit?
Yeah. Oh yeah, never stop. It just works. Fitbit, you like only have to charge it like once a week.
Yeah, that is nice.
Like your phone, like my phone's on red right now for battery life. It just does what I want it to do. It has all the dashboards that I want it to have. It's small on my wrist. It's not big or clunky. I have a rule, like if it's not like broken, I'm not going to change it for technology. Like, but if something's working, you just leave it alone, let it work, and start switching things up, and you go looking for problems. But yeah, I mean, Saturday I probably went a little too much. I played 5 hours of tennis on Saturday. And I ended up, I'm 210 pounds. So total calories for the day was 5,235.
God damn.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Some of the numbers you tell me, I'm like, fuck, man, I'd have to run for like 5 hours to do that.
I was gonna say, so you're like that, your drills and your practice, that is your conditioning, right? Like you don't have to do any kind of supplemental run after a practice to get your heart rate going or anything.
Well, this is the summertime, right? So you can do that in the summertime. In the winter time, you're going to be limited by the amount of indoor court time you can do. Now, I'm a psycho. If it's anything over 35, I have a ball machine. I take it out and go practice my strokes out in the cold. And that's only like an hour or something. But that's when I supplement with like high intensity interval training type workouts, boot camp style workouts, stuff like that in the wintertime.
You're doing that stuff a lot anyways, though, right now with the gym and everything.
Yeah. I still do that stuff, but less in the summertime. I try to do more stuff outside, but in the wintertime, it's key because I don't do as much running.
Right.
And I prefer that style of training to running. Not that I dislike running, I just like that style more.
Yeah, it's a little more exciting. Running can get boring.
Yeah. Well,
sure.
But the distances I run, you don't typically get bored. I think naturally you just want to do the things that you're better at, and I'm better at that type of stuff than I am at running.
Yep. So I guess we could move on to the next topic, which would be the gym.
Yeah.
So you and Samantha purchased the gym. How long ago? It was over a year now?
Yeah. No, not even a year yet. Last November.
Okay, so 10 months,
Yeah.
9-10 months. How's it been going so far being a gym owner, you guys?
It's been fun. Yeah, it was super fun this morning, waking up super early because the internet was down. Had to go in there, mess around with some cables. Turns out it was the internet service provider anyway that was down. So, there's that aspect to it where it's like, oh, what the heck? Before I drive into Boston, I've got to go, mess around with some internet cables. But then there's the rewarding aspect of it where, you get to meet a ton of people in your area. You get to make a whole bunch of friends. You get to have a gym to go to.
Right.
Yeah,
biggest perk. Biggest perk.
But
so what kind of gym is it? Just so for people who don't know.
Yeah, so it's a gym operated 100% by my wife Samantha. It's basically her gym, her business. I would say that I'm her helper for technology and stuff, but it's 100%, her idea, her concept, her hard work. And it's kind of like a classes style gym, kind of like CrossFit like, but a little bit different, a little more strength and conditioning focused. We have, strength classes, on certain days, and on other days we have high intensity interval training type workouts, cardio, boot camp style. So, we have squat racks, we have a turf, we have sleds, we have medicine balls, kettlebells, we have all the cool stuff. And I really enjoy this type of training. I think, especially, for what I'm trying to do with still be athletic, but also, have general strength. It's like the perfect balance.
Yep.
I think it's like kind of the thing everything likes about CrossFit, but without those barriers to entry of like, okay, walk on your hands for 30 yards, or do handstand push-ups, or do, muscle ups, or hipping pull-ups 100 times, it's all that same feel, but without all that stuff that can be intimidating.
Yeah, you get everybody in every skill level can come in and get a good workout.
Yeah, we have modifications to all our workouts. We meet folks where they're at. Folks like me could be working out, and folks that are older in age could be working out doing the same thing, and we're both getting a lot out of it and enjoying ourselves.
I've seen some workshops too, like a deadlift workshop and a running one come up recently. Those look pretty cool.
Yeah, we're trying to make it so folks feel like, this is the one-stop shop for all of things related to their fitness goals. So, okay, that's, workouts, that's healthy way of socializing, meeting friends, with like-minded, similar interests. It's a great way to meet people, as you get older, that's not through work or through kids. It's a great way to just organically meet people in person. Crazy thought, right? You don't have to meet someone on an app. You can meet them in real life.
That's too weird. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I don't know that. No.
Yeah. And then, what else is a part of that? Nutrition, and then also kind of education. So, The workshop are geared towards the education on, certain types of topics. So, how do you maintain your body, through training for a half marathon or a 5K or something like that. We have a workshop on that. You can come ask questions. We don't have to be jumping up and down, while you're talking to us. We can actually sit down and talk about something in depth.
Yeah, it's cool as hell. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out, I'm drinking red wine tonight because I knew that Pat was
Good.
going to be on, and he's a
Yeah.
health nut. So I didn't bring my beer like I normally drink. I figured I'd go a little healthier, bring the red wine instead.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. The gym sounds awesome. So so you and your wife run it together, although you said she kind of runs it and you're her
He
temp.
runs it. Yeah.
What are your guys' backgrounds? Like, what's her background? What's your background, professionally speaking?
So my wife is a certified personal trainer. She has Both of us have master's degree from Salve Regina University. She's worked a variety of jobs, in the past at the YMCA and IT project management. Did a little bit of human resources consulting. So she has such a wide variety of skills that have actually been really useful in this endeavor here. But it's kind of funny how, when you're starting down your path, you don't know where it's going to lead you, but how kind of the path prepares you for the destination. And I think her story of how she got here is a great example of that. I'm 100% technology. I do cybersecurity. So everything technology, from writing code to even just doing like compliance with legal frameworks and stuff. So I can do the technology part of the business, and she does literally everything else.
That's funny. No, because I asked, because I was, I had in the back of my mind, you said she runs all the classes and stuff. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, she's got to be a trainer, obviously. But then my next question was, obviously, building your own business, you got to be more than just, a trainer, right? You've got to have some skills. But it seems like between the two of you, you guys have kind of cultivated this kind of diverse background skill set, and things seem to be taking off. So that's awesome. So is it just you two? Do you guys have other people with you?
Yep. So I don't think I mentioned the name of the gym yet. It's Force Fitness, forcefitnessct.com.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And it's my wife and myself, and we also have 4 trainers right now that work also. So we're very lucky. We have very talented, very smart coaches that have all different types of backgrounds. So I think we have a very diverse skill set, and I don't know, just real thankful to have the members that we have, of the coaches we have, and just to have a really cool bunch of fitness focused people locally. Super cool.
You ever go in at like 2 a.m, like and just tear it up? I feel like I would want to do that like once a month or
that
something.
sounds like something you would do. I go in on like a Sunday afternoon.
Okay. Well,
like
okay. So when no one's in there,
after taking an afternoon nap, and well, I guess I ought to get a workout in today. And typical gyms are closed, but mine is always open.
It's gonna be so cool.
Only psychopaths go to even think about working out at 2 o'clock in the morning. But
yeah, Tyler would be like, "Oh, I'm starting a new challenge, a 24-hour challenge. I'm going to do a workout in the gym during every hour of the day. So starting tomorrow, 1 a.m. and the next day, 2 a.m."
I would never do something like that.
It's just like, I gotta bench 225 10 times every hour until no one else can do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So Force Fitness Connecticut. You said forcefitnessct.com. Was that the website?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Anything else on the gym? Because I want to get into your health goals while we're talking about.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep moving.
Okay. So before we get into the more funny things about like the Liver King and the raw milk thing that you've been doing.
Speaking of milk, having a glass right now.
Is it raw milk?
Not raw milk, but it is milk.
I thought you were a raw milk guy now. Okay, we can get a raw milk right now.
Yeah, let's not.
All right, whoa. Let's start with the goals, and then we can talk raw milk, because I got lots of raw milk questions. So.
All right. Let's do it.
So I guess in general, what are your current health goals? What are you working towards? And What are you currently doing for a diet?
So at the beginning of this year, at the Force Fitness, we did the New Year's reboot, where folks picked like a fitness goal like that and tracked it through the month of January. And at the time, I was 220 pounds. I'd probably been 220 or greater for over 10 years now, with a variety of different, consistencies of how my body looks. 10 years ago was a lot more muscle. Earlier this year, less than it was before. I wouldn't call myself out of shape, but not in ideal shape. So I wanted to lose 5 pounds in the month of January, and I wanted to get down to 210 overall. And what I was doing for my diet to lose the weight, I wanted to get between like a 500 to 750 calorie deficit per day, burn 500, 750 more calories than I ate. And I wanted to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight that I weighed. So 220 grams of protein per day. And the motivation behind that was, just doing some research, and that would keep me feeling full. I don't do well with the temptation and the snacking. So it's like, hey, if I'm full, maybe I'll have less temptation.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked for me. A variety of things work for different people. That worked really well for me. I did lose the 5 pounds in January, and I have got down to 210 and below that since.
You were at 205 at one point, right? You had got down.
No. I think the lowest I've seen on the scale is like 207 or 206.5, but that was like after swelling a lot. I go back and forth between like 209, 211 right now. I just,
water weight or early in the morning.
So I'm 210. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's where I'm at in terms of my goals from here. I've been trying to just really focus on the tennis for a little bit, but I'd really like to get my leg strength strong again. I'd say in terms of things that I'm naturally strong at, legs are not one of them. I'm taller, I have longer legs. I don't think I have a very good build for squatting and stuff. But if I do really work really hard at it, I can get strong. It makes me more explosive athlete, makes me jump higher. And it's like, why the heck would you need to do any of that? You sit at a desk all day and you play tennis, you don't have to jump. Well, the answer is ego. I just want to do it.
Also, there's a lot of information out there about as you get older, that strength is actually more important than people really think. And a lot of older folks have injuries when they're older, like walking downstairs because they don't have the strength to walk up and down stairs.
Just think of what goes first on old people. It's mobility, right?
Yeah.
So are you trying to get back to cleaning 315 or?
I don't think I'll ever do that again. I would sign right now for 275. If I could clean 275 again, I would take it.
Still high. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll even get back. I don't know if I'll ever get back to that, though. I think since like college, I've still been able to clean 250 or 255 some days. But I don't think I've ever attempted higher than that. If I really worked at it, I could get back to that. But to me, from my experience, the jump from like cleaning 250 to 275 is like a completely different world. You think it's just 25 pounds. It's like it's another level of strength.
The calorie deficit. So you're saying 500 to 700 a day was the target. Did you find points where you're feeling weak the next day when you do that? Or if you exceeded the 700 and you're getting to like 900 or 1,000, did you feel weak, or did you still feel pretty healthy and ready to go the next day on the deficit?
Well, I probably did more than 500 or 700 on most days because I had to account for margin of error, because you got to imagine I'm not perfect with putting things in. I did put in literally everything I ate.
Yeah.
But is the
how many ounces of chicken or meat or
right.
Yeah. So was it perfect? No. Is the calorie burn tracker on my wrist with the heart rate, is that perfect? Well, probably not. Right. So I always overdid it a little bit. And I didn't ever feel tired unless I did something like wild, like a 2,200 calorie deficit.
Okay.
Then I would feel tired the next day. But otherwise, I felt really good. And I wasn't feeling like I was starving. If sometimes I did feel a little bit hungry, I would like eat an apple and that would fill me.
Damn.
That worked.
So let's take a minute and dive into the diet side of things. So going for 700 calorie deficit, but also you said what 220 grams of protein you're trying to get. So what's your diet look like while you're doing this? What are you eating?
So in the kind of the cheat code for all this was Oikos 000 Pro Greek yogurt.
Okay.
What I would eat for breakfast every single day was like 2 servings of that. So I think that's 23 grams of protein per serving. So that's 46. And then I would put in 2 scoops of whey protein into that. So that's like another 40. So, oh my God, what's the math? 86 grams of protein to start the day.
Just at breakfast?
I was gonna say you're jump
Yeah,
starting
that's
yourself
breakfast.
real good. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be real good. And then for lunch, I'd have maybe a bunch of eggs. And then there's like what are these things called? There's like these bagels that are like really low calorie that I would eat to kind of trick myself.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what they're called.
Were they like low cal, low carb bagels?
Yeah,
Are
it's
they
like
thin?
the brand is like a number.
Hmm.
It's like 547 or I don't know. Anyway, there's if you see bagels with a bunch of numbers on them, those are the ones that I ate. So, and still eat every
Maybe
single
that was
day.
maybe that was one of those high calorie deficit days, and he was just seeing numbers because he was so zonked or
No,
something.
no, for bagels, they're like super long calories.
So you obviously have a goal number in mind for protein, and obviously you don't want to like eat a shit ton of fat or a shit ton of carbs, but are you tracking your fat and carbs, and are you cutting yourself off at a certain point, or are you just kind of letting it ride and just trying to keep everything kind of level?
I would look at them, but the two numbers that I try to keep things simple. I think the more you complicate things with a diet, the more you can mess things up. If you keep it simple, it's real easy to stick to the plan. So the plan was 220 grams of protein, calorie deficit of at least, in the range of 5 to 750. And that's the goal. So it's not like, oh, well, I can't have this glass of milk or I can't have, butter on this because my fat percentage for today is 35% and I need it to be 30%. That's too much. Two simple things, two rules. I think that's what works best for me. Like when I was originally starting to lose weight, like years ago, I was a little bit heavier. I was traveling like nonstop. It's like, okay, I'm going to stop getting donuts with Dunkin' Donuts. I'm just going to get a coffee. I'm not going to get donuts anymore. Right. For folks that are really overweight, like not that I'm, a diet expert, but I'd be like, hey, don't drink your calories. Right.
Soda.
Stop drinking alcohol, stop drinking soda, right? Because it doesn't fill you. If you're drinking your calories, you don't have a chance, in my opinion, because you can just keep drinking. You just go to the bathroom, pee it out, just drink some more. You never get full. There's nothing that stops you.
Right.
So that's what I found that works best in diets, keeping things simple.
And you were doing mostly like a carnivore diet, right? And
yeah. So for like dinner and stuff, the chicken or some type of steak or a burger, or something like that. The burger was
Liver? Was he eating liver?
that was the original guy, but there was another guy like Carnivore MD you would listen to for a while. Is that right? Was that his name?
Yeah, I still watch his stuff. I mean, some folks like him, some folks don't. I don't agree or follow everything he says. Like,
Yep.
I eat vegetables still, but I think some of the stuff that he says, really resonates with me about, meat not being the source of all evil. In diet, I think eating meat is good. It's
Yep.
good for you. I mean, obviously, I'm a big believer in everything in moderation, and don't go overboard with stuff. But I don't think if you don't eat meat for kind of like ethical reasons or it's what you believe, go for it. All power to you. But I think if you eat meat, it's not going to kill you. I think it might help you.
Yeah.
I talk about this a lot with my wife. So my wife is a nurse practitioner,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times in teenagers that she sees, they are trying to be vegan or vegetarian, and they have very poor nutrition because
Yeah.
They don't have the knowledge of how to get protein without meat.
Right.
So that's the biggest struggle. And I think people I don't think people really truly realize that you have to be really skilled to be a vegetarian or a vegan and still get those nutritional needs that you physically need to function.
And not eat a ton of processed foods.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart. I mean, let's make my point clear. You can definitely thrive athletically being a vegetarian or being a vegan if you know what you're doing. And I have, folks that work at the gym who are vegan, incredible shape, very strong, very healthy. But you have to know what you're doing. It's not like you can just go eat any vegetable every day and expect not to have any type of vitamin deficiencies. You have to, plan out the way you get your micronutrients.
Are you still eating the most nutrient dense organ in the human body, or
so I've only eaten liver maybe like 2 or 3 times
since
I have to say, when Samantha did make it, it actually tasted good. I didn't eat it raw, but everyone's saying my mother told me when I was growing up that she used to have liver. It was like the worst tasting food ever.
Yeah, my mom said the same.
I don't think it was that bad. And I'm not like someone who would lie about that, or someone who's like good with nasty foods. I'm actually kind of picky. So if it was bad, I would not eat it, but it tasted good.
You're taking like a powder for a while. Oh, bagels are 647. I just saw them on my screen.
647. There you go.
But you were taking like a liver powder for a while, right?
Yeah. I've stopped doing that since, but
Yep.
I'm a big believer in trying things. If something there's an idea that sounds interesting and I think it has merit, I'll give it a shot. What do I know? I'll try it myself to figure out. If it works, great, keep doing it. I feel like maybe I don't need to do it, I'll stop.
So what's the deal with raw milk? What's the thought behind that one? It's like non-pasteurized milk, right?
I was gonna say let's start before you dive in. Can you give us like a quick and dirty what is, give us a QDOS of what raw milk is?
I don't know. I haven't had it that much. I just wanted to try it, but
I thought you were drinking it all the time.
No, most of the milk I drink is just the regular stuff you get at the supermarket, but I just seen the videos about raw milk and I was like, I didn't even know you could get this stuff, so there was like a website like realmilk.com, and you can like put in your zip code and it shows you where you can get raw milk, and there was a place like super close, and it was like, I remember when I did it, it was like raining like crazy out, and I just was like, I'm gonna go get some raw milk. Drove to the store and I got the raw milk and drank it. It just tasted like milk.
It didn't taste much different or any different.
Well, it tasted like good milk. Like whole milk tastes like way better than like 1% milk.
Yeah.
I love whole milk. Yeah, it was like that. It was just like really good milk. Stuff you would like, you're going up to bed, you want to drink, pour yourself some raw milk, some whole milk, it's good.
Oh, I thought for sure you were drinking it all the time. I guess I must have misinterpreted.
Apparently, it's a hot commodity. I was going to say, you told me he was drinking it all the time. In the back of my mind, I'm just thinking of that Schitt's Creek episode where they're like smuggling raw milk. And after I watched that, I was like, what is the whole, like, I assumed, and it's true, it's literally just milk that's not pasteurized. So things aren't removed out of it. It's not treated for bacteria or any of that.
Yeah. I eat raw eggs. That's what I do a lot. I eat raw eggs.
Interesting.
Like,
how do those taste?
Well,
do you just throw them in a cup and throw them down? You mix them up, or
I mix them up like you're gonna make scrambled eggs. Just mix them up and I just drink them down. I think the most I've ever drank at one time is either 8 or 9. Me and my college roommate Mark used to do it like all the time.
How many grams of protein do you think you lose when you cook them? Because that's the reason why you do it raw, right? Or it's just quicker?
No, I do it just because I'm lazy. It's like, well, I could sit here and like cook these eggs, burn them, or I could just drink them.
I might start doing this.
Why cook them?
Yeah, it takes me like 10 minutes to cook breakfast in the morning. If I could just drink them.
Obviously, they taste better, but then I have to like watch them, and I like my eggs sunny side up. So you've got to like,
that's even more difficult. I understand.
Yeah, you got to like push it. Make as much, because I'm trying to get as many eggs in the pan as once. So it's like, all right, take the spatula and like move it. All right, now I'll try and get another one. It's like, oh, that one just bled into that one. All right, let me see if I can just move it back. Like, all right, forget this.
Hmm.
Especially if you have like lunchtime calls and like back to back. It's like, I don't have 20 minutes right now. Let me just make these eggs.
Down
real
some
quick.
eggs real
Yeah.
fast.
Boom, 40 grams of protein.
Damn. What else on health and diets? You got anything, Seth? If not, I think
What's your take on I first of all, personally, I really like the way you approach dieting, the simplicity of it, the moderation of it. Um, you can tell that you and I'm assuming your wife, because she runs the gym as well, you could take a very positive approach. There's no real scolding for,
Yeah.
oh, you ate some chocolate or oh, you had a couple beers this week, which I think you see a lot of people kind of stumble and then falter out of a routine when that happens, right? Even if it's not someone else shaming them, they shame themselves, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I screwed up this weekend and now I had an off day and yada yada yada. I'm curious though, what's your take on some of these fad diets? So like people who do keto or people who, what's the other one I was just thinking of earlier? Some of these ones like, oh, intermittent fasting. Some of these ones that are kind of newer. I wouldn't call them lifestyle because I don't see them as much as like vegetarians who it's like an ethical thing, but it's more like a fad diet. What are your thoughts on those?
I'd say if it works for you, great. If that works for you, if the whole keto thing works for you, and that's when you're feeling your best, awesome. But I think a lot of them are like keto. What's like the max amount of carbs you can have in a day? Is it like 20 or 25?
it's very low. I was
It's
doing
very low.
I did it for
I
a
don't know
couple
how
months.
sustainable that is. I don't know how
So
sustainable that is.
speaking, I've done some on the physiological side because I'm a nerd like that. And what I've gathered from things like keto, things like intermittent fasting is people do it to lose weight, right? People don't do it for
Yeah,
a lifestyle. They do it to lose weight. But the problem with them is that the science is sound behind the actual diets. But the problem is you can't stop once you start. Because once you stop, then you've just reset everything you did. And so if you went keto and lost 50 pounds and then stopped keto, that 50 pounds is coming right back, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm like, are these people just seeing, people drop weight and look good? Plus, to me, I don't think ketosis is something you really want to put your kidneys through for a long period of your life. But,
Yeah. I'd rather just go the sustainable approach. With those diets, it sounds like you could lose weight faster. But unless it's something that you can see yourself doing, like completely just changing your lifestyle, hey, this is the way I eat from now on, and I'm good this way, I'd rather wait for my results, but do something that's more long-term sustainable and build those habits rather than work myself into these habits that are only sustainable for, not to say that, that keto is only sustainable for X number of months, but I think for most folks, they're probably not going to be keto for the rest of their life.
Right.
But it's like, what is the diet that you're going to do for the rest of your life? Let's figure that plan out, get you on that, and then, then you're smooth sailing. You got that figured.
That carb goal is insane too. I just Googling around real quick. Between 5 to 10% of calories in a day. It seems to range between 15 and 50 grams, but 15 grams of carbs is so easy to go over in a single.
I mean, that's a sandwich, right? Like that's two pieces of bread.
I think that might even be more than that.
That's probably even more. I'd be out. I love bread. I love bread. I love pasta, man.
Yeah, someone just spikes her coffee with oat milk. Boom, out of ketosis.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah, okay. Damn. Happen anytime.
All right, so complete gear change here. Oh, it looks like
it's perfect timing as we jump into a new topic.
Yo,
welcome, Rich. Rich, this is Pat. You met once, but yeah, welcome again.
We did.
Yeah, I'm loving the fingerprint background. That's sweet.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I thought it was topography or something, but yeah.
So we were actually just about to jump into the metaverse conversation. We had talked about diet and health and the gym and tennis. So, and just as you jumped on, so I think that's the one you wanted to talk about the most. So good timing.
Well, before we go there, did we cover raw milk?
Yes, we did.
All right, I'll
Turns out Pat doesn't even really drink raw milk. It was all a lie.
No,
I
I
have drank it. I would drink it again, but it's not like my fridge is stocked with raw milk.
okay. You got me doing research before because I'm like, should I be drinking this?
Right from the cow's udder. You
Right.
actually, Rich, you actually have to go into a cow pasture and drink it straight from the udder.
Yeah,
That's
instead of cow
You gotta
tipping,
tip the cow first. Push it over. And you can
And
milk it.
then the liver king. Did you feel duped when it turns out he was all roided up?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, this guy told me he's natural.
Yeah.
I've never seen Pat so quiet for like a span of a couple of days after the Liver King came out as a fraud, or is using roids. Pat was listening to him so much before that, and then I was like, oh shit, Pat's actually quiet about this right now.
I was watching Liver King stuff before he got like super popular. I was like watching it. I was like, wow, this guy's pretty interesting. This is you just look at how jacked he is. It's like you've never seen anyone. I mean, I feel like, if he turned like really fast, like his abs would like hit you in the side. Like they just jut out. They're like, an obstacle, right? I've never seen abs like that big on someone. People were, there's the rumors they get ab implants, right?
He
Yeah,
looked,
he was massive.
he looked like the dudes from 300 except times 2, right?
Yeah.
He looked like a Jack Yukon Cornelius.
Yeah, he's a caricature. He's a caricature of the guys in 300 who are caricatures of Spartans. So he's like levels of caricature abstraction. I don't know, it blows my
Well,
mind.
I'm not gonna lie. I did go out and I bought like a pack of like cow liver
Yeah.
not long after it became popular. Yeah, but I didn't stick with the program.
Did you eat it raw?
But, no. Did you ever eat it raw?
You asking me or Pat?
I've never eaten it raw. I would try it. I've eaten it cooked. It tasted good, but when I would try it.
Okay. I mean, I might. I don't know. Debating. I don't know. I feel like there's just so many things that it's like, I don't know, like deer have things like blue tongue or some weird bacterial thing that all of a sudden, you like.
All I know is don't eat bear. Don't eat bear.
Yeah, you get what, like trypnosis or whatever it's called.
No, from what I understand, like bears like have a lot of nasty stuff in them, so you're not supposed to eat bear meat. Well,
Okay.
if you do, like you have to know what you're doing, and I'm just not going to eat bear.
Yeah. A lot of people when they kill their first deer, they'll like bite the heart. Like in what was that movie, Dances with Wolves, when he kills his first buffalo and they cut the heart out and he takes a bite. But I don't even know
This
if
is
I would agree with
crazy.
that
I've never seen Dances with Wolves, and now this is 2
man.
days in a row. No one has ever referenced Dances with Wolves to me in my entire life. 2 days in a row, someone has brought up Dances with Wolves. This is crazy.
It's part of the
We're
simulation.
definitely in the metaverse now.
I would say it's part of the simulation, which is a good segue into the metaverse. So what are your thoughts on the metaverse?
Well, I thought The Sims was really good. I don't know why we needed to improve on that.
I guess what direction do you think we're heading with the metaverse? Like what whether it's Meta or some blockchain company or video game company, what do you think it looks like, 10 years
what
from now?
what I would love for it to look like would be something like, without all the evil, Ready Player One. Like, I don't know if you ever seen that movie. That's super cool.
Yep.
And there's this like quirky romantic comedy on Amazon Prime called Upload. Why am I blanking on the name?
Oh, is that the one with the guys from The Office made it, right?
It's a lot like that. Yeah, it's called Upload. Basically, the premise is when you die, they can upload your brain into this metaverse thing, and that's where you live. The afterlife is like in the metaverse.
That would be legit.
Like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, it's like, but with comedy, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know like where all this stuff is going. I think I just saw news the other day, Meta's lost a ton of money on it. It seems like there's a lot of news with all these Web3 crypto companies about hacks and people losing money. There's like 10 of those articles per one like hopeful article. So it's like the bearish of the bear times, I feel like right now.
Yep,
so,
on the crypto side for sure.
Yeah, people that were like in it are leaving it. Folks are kind of going different directions. So I guess this is when you buy, if that's what they say,
I was
right?
gonna say Tyler's buying on the way down.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't work really well with Luna though.
No, I didn't. Oh no,
Yeah,
I traded that one and made some money that day, but that was a rough
yeah.
day.
That didn't really work well with Luna and UST, but
We had
who
Pavan on
knows?
last week, and he and I think his brother lost a good chunk of change in Luna, and he hasn't got back in crypto since.
Yeah, well, I'm still holding LUNC. Hold it
Lunk.
till die. Yeah, yeah.
What do you when you talk about kind of taking people's consciousness or whatever and putting that into the metaverse, like what do you envision the metaverse being in 10 years, 20 years?
I don't know. I don't know. Definitely not anything like that. I think the more you work with computers, I think the more skeptical you are of anything like that. So, like, obviously, Chat GPT is like super good. It's definitely like the best AI assistant type tool I've ever
Yeah.
used, right? For sure. But in reality, computers are just electrical signals and things are either on or they're off, ones or zeros, right? And can that ever really fully replicate your consciousness, who you are? I mean, they're trying. I think there's something going on with Hollywood right now where they want to just like scan in extras. And it's like we scan you one time and now we own your likeness in perpetuity and can put you in backgrounds of movies. And
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that's in the short term where the direction where we're going, where we'll probably take people's voices and likenesses and stuff and try to replicate them and rob you of your likeness. And I actually don't
They
like
kind
that.
of they kind of did that in Star Wars, right? When the lady who plays
Princess
Princess
Leia.
Leia, and then the other
Yeah.
guy, the evil guy, in
Garbage.
Rogue One, Harkin or whatever, the commander that he was dead for. He's probably been dead a while.
Governor Tuck,
Yes.
Tuck, whatever
Maybe
his name
that's
is.
it. Yeah, maybe that's it. The guy who was like, he was old in the 70s, and then
Yeah.
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 He's a great
I
character.
mean, I think that's a little bit different though. Like they made sure to get permissions from families and like get the okay before they did that. It wasn't like Hollywood's like, you were in the background of a movie once, so now I own you and I can put you in the background of a movie 150 years from now when you're dead and
Yeah,
gone. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
this.
and like Carrie Fisher's not hurting for a buck, right? Like the extra, right, should probably be paid for their roles. I
Right.
know folks who have worked as extras before. Like
Sure.
they should
Yeah.
be paid. Yeah.
There was a girl on Twitter that was like complaining. There was a tweet. We're probably going back 6 months at this point, but she was complaining about how there was an app on your phone that could take somebody's face and then basically put it on like a woman's body in a porn scene. So like anybody, yeah, which is like really messed up because that could be your sisters, your wife, your mother. You know what I mean? It's kind of, to your point. It is kind of fucked up if they could take your likeness and use it in any way that they want to.
Yeah,
Especially
that'd
that.
be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But then I downloaded the app. No, I'm just kidding. So,
Jesus Christ.
so you don't think we're getting to the Matrix like level or anything like that?
Not anytime soon.
I think Neuralink has got to be the thing that gets us kind of close if they can figure that out, right? Where they can take
You're not
brain
catching me using
signals.
that stuff, that's for sure. I like Elon Musk, but not enough to, have him tap into my brain. That's for sure. No thanks.
Yeah.
The wrong people
I
get a
get his
hold of that.
I get his point though. It's like, yeah, I like typing on a keyboard better than I like typing on my phone. So it's like the rate of input to computers is actually going the opposite way. We went from having 10 fingers now to having 2 thumbs, right?
Yeah.
So the input's being lower. He's like, all right, well, how about I just flip it on its head? How about I put it directly into your brain and you could just think into the computer? Sounds good if I didn't care about my life or well-being,
Yeah.
No big
Yeah, all I
deal.
cared about was how
No
fast
big
can I
deal.
go to ESPN.com? Boom, I'm there. No,
If I
I'll
trusted private companies in the government, maybe I would do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
To
wild though.
get
If you think about it, like our phones have been learning us for years. Like if you, I mean, we all have iPhones, right? If you open an iPhone, you open text messaging without even typing a word, the first suggested word in the center is like your most used word. And then if you just keep clicking it, your phone knows your most used sentences. So they already know your most used thoughts and
Yeah.
usings and whatnot. So it's already moving that way. I think it's really interesting. It's something we've talked about this with other guests, but I think you're the first person to bring it up. Like the emotional aspect. Like it's so simple to just pull and plug a figure into something different, but like getting the emotional side of things, like computers can they do it? We're ones and zeros, how do you get them to have these kind of autonomous feelings? So I think that's really interesting.
I do think there is kind of like a parallel tech economy kind of being built on the side that's running counter to that stuff. I think if you look at email, you look at their company Proton Mail, they just came out. They're kind of like a Google Gmail type of competitor. They've got Proton Drive now. They've got a calendar app. They've got a VPN. All these VPN companies that you hear advertising on podcasts, that's to hide from ISPs snooping on your web browsing traffic. There's the DuckDuckGo browser and the DuckDuckGo search engine, which is kind of a Google alternative that doesn't try to profile you or sell you stuff. So I think it'd be interesting to watch that space. I think you'll see more of those companies pop up.
What about messaging apps? Is there anything that you feel? Because I feel like even I heard recently that Signal, who was it, Tucker Carlson got contact, or at least got contacted from somebody. So like they read his Signal messages, the government somehow. I feel like what messaging app is encrypted enough that
at the end of the day, there's no hiding from the government.
Yeah, right.
Unless you go to a company that is in a different nation that isn't subjected to such laws, but all it just takes is for their government to just change their mind, and now you can't really hide from the government and that stuff, in my opinion.
I mean, it's a given though, right? Like the government is what controls, cell phone signaling and the, internet and whatnot, where the internet can and can't be. So of course they're going to have control over, watching.
They also have the law,
right.
Here's court
Exactly.
order. Give us the data, right? That's the ultimate trump card. Yeah. Give this to me or else. We'll put you in jail.
Rich
Patriot Act.
Rich really wanted you to say the metaverse was going to be like the Matrix. He was really hoping you would say that.
I was hoping you were saying that. Yeah.
We got in a debate when we had his cousin on, and Rich and Seth seemed to think that the metaverse was going to be the end of civilization, almost.
Yeah, I think we had to. I think what we failed to do is define it, though, in the sense of, when we were saying metaverse, we were using it synonymously with the Matrix, right? So we felt that it was going to get to a point where in 20, 30 years, that it would be like, you're plugged in, you're able to live some sort of alternative life. Now, I think you bring up a good point, which is like, there is a shift now. So 6 months ago, you heard about metaverse way more than you hear it now. So if you're hearing about it less, then theoretically there's a lot less funding, and that timeline of if we ever get to that point is going to be extended. But we felt, okay, like, let's say you could plug in. Here's my, like, in 30 seconds. If you're plugged in all the time, people are going to be living these alternative lives that they're going to have, like, they're either going to be in, like, Gotham City or like New York City. They're going to have like their own apartment, their own job. Well, probably not a job if you're living a better life. But you've got, like, people are going to have relationships, right? They're going to have like affairs, and they're always going to be plugged into this society where there really is no rules, right? There really doesn't have to be any rules, because it's all digital, right? So I thought it would get very debaucherous, and that's just going to fuck with everybody's dopamine levels and what they're searching for. So when they unplug, it's like, how does that translate to how they interface with the real world? The way that social media has morphed, like if you look at the younger generation and even our generation, millennials, but like what that's done to us, right? Think about what the metaverse could do. So that was sort of what Seth and I were coming from. We said, are people going to become like serial killers? like, like in there? And then when they unplug, they're also like, searching for that greater high.
I think with video games, you could say that already exists.
So that's
That's
our
where the
argument, yeah.
conversation went.
Yeah, that's exactly what they
All right,
said.
so we're just predictable human beings. I get it. It's fine.
We just sound old, Seth. Because
That's what mine and Rich's cousin's argument was. Like, that's what our parents said about video games, and that's what their parents said about rock and roll. Like, it's gonna be the end of the world, you know? Like,
But do you remember? Okay, but when I watched the Shawnee episode, I said if the world was ending tomorrow, what would you do? And I said I would do a fucking heist. And then the example, like later on, I said, haven't you ever played Grand Theft Auto and how fun that is to do a heist?
So
who
Rich.
knows, maybe there's
So
a point.
what we've gathered is Rich is the problem. That's what it comes
problem.
down to.
Problem.
I
Yeah.
mean, look at some of the stuff you can do in Red Dead Redemption. I mean, you can do wild stuff in that. Violent, horrible, terrible things you can do.
Yeah. When that first came out, there was like all these people would have posses and they were terrorizing like just normal people walking around in it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
so I guess one more note on this, and then we can move to the question we ask everybody. The one thing Rich was talking about today was trying to start playing like video games again together, and like Call of Duty, like back in the day. That would have been so fun. I just don't have any systems or video games at all, but back in the day when we were playing as the Fire Clan, that was really probably the peak of my life, video game life.
Nothing better than a good Wednesday night between college ending and your summer job starting, playing Call of Duty and drinking Smirnoff Ice.
Smirnoff Ice is nothing better.
That was your drink of choice, really? That's hilarious.
That's back when Bros Icing Bros came out.
Oh my god, I haven't heard that in so long.
We were real into icing people.
Yeah, it was good.
We were actually pretty creative with how we used to ice each other.
Dude, that would have been 2010 because I just Googled that 7 years after its heyday, right? And the article on that, the date on that article was 2017, so it would have been 2010 when that was popular.
That makes sense.
So it was middle of college.
Yeah, it was the best.
Damn, dude, time flies.
Final question before the lightning round. Final topic. So especially with last week's information about UAPs coming out. Do you believe in aliens? What do you think they look like? What do you think an encounter would look like, especially on like a larger scale visit? I guess what do you think about aliens?
I don't know. I mean, if aliens are real, you're definitely one of them. So you tell me.
Don't tell anybody, man.
All these people running ultra races are definitely the aliens.
Yeah, for real. They have like lungs so they can keep breathing or something.
Yeah.
More oxygen.
Definitely aliens. I don't know.
No concept of sanity is where I was going with that. I mean,
yeah. Okay. So if I'm gonna think about it logically, do I think they're real? Well, let's look at the probability. Like life exists. Obviously, we're alive. And the universe is supposed to be like gigantic. Like you listen to that Neil deGrasse Tyson guy talk about, well, the universe is actually infinite, and there are infinite universes and infinite galaxies and black holes, and right. So it's like, all right, there's gotta be life out there somewhere, right?
Yeah,
I'd say there probably is life somewhere else. Yeah, I'd say so. Are they here? I don't think so. I probably need to see more evidence. Yeah, nowadays I'd rather be late to figuring out something is true and risk like not being first than like jumping on the newest theory and getting pulled a million different ways every 2 weeks, because there's a new conspiracy theory every 2 weeks. Not that I don't like to listen to them. They're fun. But am I going to start changing my life or really start preaching about it? I don't know. I need like a ton of evidence.
It's fair. I saw it literally this morning. I watched a video. Remember that guy, Ancient Aliens, with the big hair, who's always like aliens?
Yes.
He's I guess he's still doing his thing, and apparently there's a bunch of aliens down in South America, and there was a big pink egg covered in goo, and there's some alien with like 6 sets of eyes and elf-like ears that hatched, and they're on the hunt for it. So the guy's still doing his thing, and apparently there's undeniable evidence now.
No, it's clearly wrong. It's obviously Ivan Ooze from
Oh,
the Power
Power
Rangers
Rangers.
movie.
Oh man, great reference. Great reference. Holy
Who's your
shit.
favorite Power Ranger? Go, all three, go.
Green Ranger, dude.
Yeah,
Red.
I was
Red.
a White Ranger.
R.I.P. Tommy though. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Tommy.
Tommy,
R.I.P.
Did he
Well, I
die
mean,
of-
Pink Ranger, of course, was my
First
favorite.
crush.
Well,
As a
yeah.
young man growing up, she was
Oh, they
probably
were
my
meant
first
to be.
crush.
Tommy and Kimberly were meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
the kid and I
Tommy-
next door used to fight each other over who would get to date her. We were like 5 years old, and we also watched wrestling. So we were doing like choke slams, and we were doing like all the finishers to each other to win her heart. Which is like, dude, when you think about it too, like, do you have kids, Pat?
No, I don't.
You don't have kids, okay. Seth, you have a kid, right? Think about so. Imagine if you
No,
had
no, I
two
don't.
boys. Imagine if you had two boys and you saw one giving like the other a stone cold stunner or like
Yeah.
some other thing. It's like,
I'd
yeah,
give him a beer. I'd throw him 2 beers and expect him to clash them together. And just
yeah.
if my
Dude, it
kid
was
did a
like-
stone cold stunner and I threw 2 cans at him and he did not smash them together, he would no longer be my child. Like that. It's that simple.
Yeah,
I mean-
you're like 5 degrees away from a kid losing like half of his teeth or like a neck being snapped from some
I think
some
that
odd
happened a
move.
lot in the 90s and 2000s.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
There's got to be some data.
I got a
points.
feeling there were a lot of kids who went home and were like, "Mom, I have no teeth." And they're like, "What happened?" And they're like, "I ran into a door." Or
Yeah,
like,
Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy gave me last ride on a trampoline.
Or rock bottom or a tombstone or a...
Oh, dude, that was such a good era. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
You do believe in ghosts, okay?
Yep.
do you have a ghost story?
No.
I'm the only one who
Because I believe in them, I stay as far away from them as possible. I don't mess with them, and they
Yep.
don't mess with me. You know,
Yep.
you don't go
You haven't
looking
been
for
to
that
the-
stuff. We're from North Smithfield, Rhode Island, which is right next to Burville, Rhode Island, and a neighborhood in Burville is like Harrisville, Rhode Island, right? And I live in the part of North Smithfield, or I grew up in the part of North Smithfield where Harrisville was your mailing address. So all my mail was like Harrisville, Rhode Island. And at the beginning of the movie, The Conjuring,
I was gonna bring that
all
up.
with my wife in Connecticut. It's like I'm watching the movie, and it's like Harrisville, Rhode Island, 1972, and I'm like, "What?
What
No, this is about my town." And then like people are like looking up where the house was. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere near that place. Nope. I don't mess with ghosts. I don't mess with psychics. I don't mess with mediums. I just stay away from it all.
But you do ghost tours in like Key West and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
So you learn about the
They have
areas not to
tours
go
down
to.
there?
Yes.
Yeah, they had
What happened down there where there's like ghosts?
just
In
super old shit. I forget if it was the Spanish flu or some flu that was like the late 1800s or early
Key West
1900s.
actually has a lot of really sad history if you get into
Yeah.
it.
Really?
That
Yeah.
one beach near
I mean,
Higgs
it's
Beach.
not surprising.
The one beach near Higgs Beach, there were like 200 African children buried there or something like that because they.
I was gonna say, think about where Key West is. It's
Yeah.
basically like the gateway to America from the south and from the portions of
from
the
Cuba
east.
and all that. Makes
All the
sense.
ships that get stuck up on the reef there.
Yeah.
like, the
It wouldn't be
jobs down there were just like
wouldn't
rescuing
surprise me.
ships that got stuck back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth, you and I saw The Conjuring together in theaters, and I remember
Yeah, it was
being,
terrifying.
dude, I remember being
terrifying.
terrified. Yeah, that movie actually. I don't know if it's because just the volume and everything scaring the shit out of you, just being loud, but that was a scary movie. And the second one too, when they show you the devil for a second, it's like the goat guy, and they goes into
Oh
his
man, when he
face.
gets real big,
that actually kind of freaked me out a little bit too.
those are good
Yeah.
movies. Those are good movies.
They were. Yeah, the third one was a little.
Well,
Yeah,
now
I
they've
just-
got all the spin-offs. They've got the Annabelle series and they've got the
Yeah.
Nun series.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like everything else in Hollywood, it's the spin-offs that ruined it all. But the
Yeah.
OG Conjuring,
It was great. That was a great
Yeah, with
movie.
the clap, that was a really good scary movie.
Yeah,
Smile
I
was
was-
actually a really good one that came out really good.
did you watch? Is that one worth a watch? It
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
real interesting.
Let me
It's
see it.
good.
Smile.
Smile. Yeah, it's good.
The trailer looks creepy as shit.
Okay, I gotta watch that. Did you see? Did you ever read that BuzzFeed article about the guy? I think he was like in New York City, but he would always wake up to this kid at the end of his bed with half of a head. It was called like Dear David or something. There's a whole BuzzFeed like article, but they're making that into a movie. It was a crazy BuzzFeed article. Look it up. It's if you have time. It's called Dear. I think it's called Dear David.
All right, check it out.
All
I
right.
like a good thriller.
So lightning round time.
Lightning round.
Lightning round.
All right.
Lightning round.
Seth, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. Question number 1. Would you go to space?
No.
Interesting.
Scared of
Why not?
heights.
Scared of heights.
heights.
Okay, all right. All right.
3 things
Good
on your
enough.
bucket list.
My bucket list.
Yeah, 3 things.
Go back to Hawaii with Samantha.
Ooh.
Go follow the clay court season in Europe one
Okay.
time. Go follow clay court tournaments. So the clay court season for tennis is in the spring, and it's like Monte Carlo, Paris, Rome, Madrid, Barcelona, and I'm probably missing 1 or 2, but it's like it seems like all the best places to go in Europe, and it's like, yeah, I'd love to go to a different city every week in Europe and watch tennis in the
Hell
spring.
yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be great. Third thing on my bucket list, I don't know.
Shooting hogs out of a chopper.
Oh yeah, definitely that. Yeah, why?
I knew that was
bacon.
I know you want to do that pretty bad, so
gotta go, do your duty, take care of them. There should be jury duty, and there should also be pig duty.
just a 50 cal.
Yeah.
That could be really fun. Would you go forward or backward in time?
Oh, jeez. I guess backward, just because that Adam Sandler movie Click like really screwed me up. I thought I was seeing like an Adam Sandler movie, and then I was like crying a little bit.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It was like I'm never doing that. So I'm going back in time.
Okay.
Who's a famous person you'd want to go to dinner with? Doesn't have to be now. They could be past, present.
Or dinner party if you had to have multiple. I think Seth, you asked that one time too. Dinner party if you had
Dinner party.
I'll just do one. For me, it's Denzel. Denzel's the man.
It's a good one.
He's a great actor, but I think everything I've ever watched him talk about or do has just been spot on. And I love football. Football is my favorite sport, and I think Remember the Titans is
Great movie.
my favorite sports movie.
Great
Hell
just
yeah.
for me. And Denzel is just the man in that. He's just the best.
That was such a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the man.
What is the best book you've ever read or listened to?
Oh, geez. I'm a nerd. I really like Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Solid
it's the best
choice.
Lord of the Rings movie. I think it's the best Lord of the Rings book. I think it has the best chapter in all the books, which is the Council of Elrond. I think that's just such a cool chapter where they're all meeting and discussing things and going over the past and going to the future. So that's my favorite book that I've ever read, for sure.
What race would you be in Lord of the Rings if you got to choose?
Well, according to online quizzes, I'd be a dwarf.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'd be a dwarf, but if I had my own choosing, I guess what I'm most like, according to online quizzes, is a dwarf. But I would choose to be a man of Rohan.
Okay.
I think the Rohirrim are like the most heroic race, in my opinion, in terms of like the story of the Lord of the Rings. Their courage and charging in the Battle of Pelennor Fields, and Theoden is like one of my favorite characters, and the Defense of Helm's Deep.
Yeah,
I think they do the most noble deeds. Eowyn, she kills the Witch King.
Yeah.
I mean, they just do everything. They're the best.
What about, how do you feel on hobbits? Because I said I would be a hobbit.
Well, according to J.R. Tolkien, the hero of the Lord of the Rings is Sam.
I could totally see that.
Yeah, he is the hero, and he's super noble. He's the only person who wasn't corrupted by the ring. He was, besides, like, if you want to get real nerdy, Tom Bombadil, but he doesn't count. He can carry the ring while Frodo is captured by the orcs in Mordor, and he just gives it back to him. He's the most, pure of heart. I like, some of my favorite scenes in the movies are the Hobbit scenes and the Shire scenes, because it just seems like,
beautiful.
The simple life, the good parts of life, just hanging out in the fields and having like a big party outside with all your friends and stuff, and shooting off. Reminds me of like 4th of July,
Yeah. I think it would be because they're like kind of like the one race that no one ever really considers because they're small. But I'm like, dude, if you look at the life that they live, and to your point, where they live, sign me up for that, man. Sign me up.
Yeah, there's an interesting line. I forget, Gandalf says it. I forget which movie it's in, but he was like, so and so believes it's the deeds of extraordinary people that holds evil at bay. That's like what what we're reliant on, and that's not what I found. It's the little things done by ordinary folk every single day is that what keeps the world going round. And I think that's really true. It's not celebrities or politicians or stuff that hold the country together. It's all of us, the regular folk that just have common courtesy for each other and do things the right way. That's kind of what holds society together.
I love that.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
If there was so what historical figure would you give advice to, and what would that advice be?
Would I give advice to?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this not a joke.
No, make it a joke.
That's fine. Yeah, make it a joke. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I give advice to. I mean, you could look at it from a bunch of different angles. I don't know.
What was your first reaction? We can always edit this
I was
out.
just saying we can cut this if we need to cut this.
Yeah, like I don't know what I'm saying. I too much of a joke. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll have to cut this one. I don't have a good one in this one. This is a tough one.
Okay. What's a song that you hear that every time you hear it, it brings you back to like a special place or a certain place? And what song is that? And where does it bring you back to?
Oh, well, I don't know if it's a song. Well, I got a couple songs, but the biggest thing is bagpipes.
Okay.
Whenever I hear the bagpipes, I hear them at St. Patrick's Day every year with Tyler and everyone. But in college, we used to walk out to football games with bagpipes.
Oh, that's cool.
Like people actually
That's
playing
awesome.
them, or
Yeah, there'd be bagpipers walking. So we walk from the locker room to the field, and there'd be two bagpipers at the front of the line, and they would play on the way out to the field. It was like the greatest thing ever. So every time I hear it's that classic, I don't know the name of it. It's probably some battle song that they play. They play it at funerals and stuff too. They would play that on the way out. Every time I hear that, it's like instantly start sweating, instantly like about to start like crying. It's like I'm ready to, I'll like do anything. You play bagpipes, I'll go like fight a polar bear. I'll lose, but I'll go fight.
That
Where did you
explains
go?
why you get so crazy during the St. Patrick's Day parade. I'm putting it all together now.
Yeah. No, I like bagpipes, like do it for me, man. Like I love bagpipes.
Where did you go?
Oh, Salve Regina in Newport, Rhode Island.
Okay, got it. And you said there's a few songs. What were the other ones?
Well, then there was the songs that were on like the football warm up track. One of them's kind of corny. It's that song "Sail" by AWOL Nation. That was just the first song on the soundtrack.
Okay.
That was like on Vine. That was turned into kind of like a meme with people like jumping when they would say "sail." But that always reminds me of football. And then I don't know, "Smooth" by Carlos Santana and Rob Thomas. That's my favorite song ever. I love that song. So it just reminds me of Newport in the summertime when I was a kid. I remember always hearing that song with my dad in the car. So I love that. That's my favorite song.
The solo in that is amazing.
He's just
Go figure, because it's Santana.
Yeah, it's Carlos Santana. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's a good guitar player too. Yeah.
Cool. Lightning round done. No more questions, anybody? We good?
I'm good.
Good.
Cool. Anything else to wrap it up? I know we should, if anybody is actually listening to this, go to forcefitnessconnecticut.com.
Oh, we didn't get to talk about Star Wars.
Was that on the list?
Yeah. Do you like Star Wars?
Okay. Do you like Star Wars?
Right.
I do, but I hate The Last Jedi. It's the worst movie ever made.
That trilogy, or just that one specifically?
That trilogy is the worst trilogy.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But then there's like, okay, that trilogy. I still like The Force Awakens. I still can watch The Rise of Skywalker, whatever it's called. but like The Last Jedi is the worst. I've never been angrier leaving. It's set apart from the rest. And I used to think Attack of the Clones was the worst Star Wars.
I was just gonna ask you. You think it's worse than Attack of the Clones?
Oh, it's way worse than Attack of the Clones. At least in Attack of the Clones, you get to see Mace Windu fight, and that whole scene at the end, you get to see Yoda
That's
fight.
fair. That's fair.
I mean, you could do a separate podcast on all the things I hate about The Last Jedi. It is an embarrassment to the Star Wars movie franchise. It's the worst.
Yeah, I think I only saw maybe 2 of them in theaters. Yeah, that's I love Star Wars. I love Lord of the Rings. I think I maybe prefer Star Wars. Maybe I say maybe because I used to have no doubt about that, and now after this last trilogy, I'm like, this is kind of, I don't like the way this is going. It just kind of sucks. Left a bad taste. But did you watch Rogue One or Han Solo or Solo?
Well, I boycotted Han Solo because that came after The Last Jedi, so I punished them, and I'll never see that movie.
It was good. It was good.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah.
It's nothing personal, but action had to be taken, right?
Sure.
And clearly they got the message because they reversed course with the last in that trilogy. But like Rogue One is like a top tier Star Wars movie. I love Rogue One. I love the score in Rogue One. I love the scene at the end.
Yep.
I love, how they stayed true to the story and everyone had to die.
Yep.
Like, it was an incredible movie. That one is so good.
It's my favorite one.
So well. Yeah.
It's
I like the little monkey guy in the door gunner monkey guy. He's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely the best Disney Star Wars movie. I wouldn't say it's the best Star Wars movie, but it's definitely the best Disney Star Wars movie.
What's the best one?
I think Empire Strikes Back. I think that is Star Wars. That Yoda, if you listen to all the things he's saying to Luke during his training, right? All those quotes, that's the foundation for all of Star Wars about the Force, learning about the Force, the dark side of the Force, the revelation that Darth Vader is his father.
Yeah.
The whole thing, even the cool, the walkers and the snow speeder tripping them and stuff and the escape from Hoth. That's the best movie. And that's why another reason why I hate The Last Jedi so much is because the second movie is kind of like where the main character is going through the trials, right? It's like doing a Rocky movie with no training montage. It's like, how does Rocky ever get ready for this fight? He doesn't train. Rey never trained. She just sat around on the planet with Luke. He was pouting the whole time, and she kicked his butt. And then she left, and then she's a Jedi Master. It's like, and then she had that weird scene with Kylo Ren with like his shirt off, but he had like a tummy trainer or something. It was like,
that was weird. There was
that thing online where everybody was doing that, where they were hiking up their pants.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. Luke is milking the sea cow. Remember at the end of Force Awakens, right? It's like she's handing Luke the lightsaber. He's like looking at her, and you're like, "Oh my god, I've been waiting for this my whole life." Full power, Luke Skywalker. You always imagine what he'd be like. It's like, we're gonna get it. He's gonna take the lightsaber, and next movie he's gonna go fight. And then it's like a year later, and he's like, go milk the cow. Go milk the sea cow. And there's Princess Leia. She can do the Mary Poppins through space.
Oh yeah, that was
terrible.
Yeah,
that was so bad.
Every bad guy in Star Wars, how do you kill him? You throw them down the hole, right? Darth Maul, slice him with a lightsaber, he falls down the hole. Emperor Palpatine, pick him up, and you throw him down this hole, right? Well, apparently all they had to do was just Mary Poppins like Princess Leia did, and everything would be fine. You just get sucked out into space. No, I'm not. Mary Poppins.
It's like negative 50 degrees, like out in space. She would get like freeze dried right away, but she was okay. On Hoth, she needed a jacket, but in space, she was okay.
She's a Jedi, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah, she's a Jedi. Exactly. I like Babu.
That one.
Which one was Babu Frickin? The little guy who like worked on the little cute little dude who's like Babu Frick.
Yeah, you always talk about
the droid.
him.
I love Babu Frick. There was some redeeming things about those movies. Babu Frick was adorable. Those little what are they called? Those little guys, porgs.
Those were the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the porgs were so stupid.
Well, they were stupid for the story. Yeah, they added nothing.
Even the last one, Babu Frick is in Rise of Skywalker.
Babu Frick. That was the Rise of Skywalker when like
It's like
there's this huge
Ewoks.
Ewoks are so cute, but they were stupid
It's
too.
good when
It
you're
was
a
like
kid. I loved the Ewoks when I was a kid, and I got older. And I was like, I don't think I like Return of the Jedi anymore.
yeah, they're just destroying AT-ATs with logs and stuff. But the thing about the last one too is like there's this huge menace, right? We're all probably gonna die, and then it's like, no, actually, we're just gonna fly in there and we're just gonna destroy the whole fleet, and this, she's gonna kill the Palpatine easily. It was really stupid. But bro, to go back to Rogue One, because you bring up a really good point about how whoever wrote that did such a good job because it brought together all those movies so well. To your point, everybody died off. The battle was incredible. I mean, I thought like the little monkey guy, which do you even know what I'm talking about? The little monkey door gunner. You see him for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that guy for whatever reason I like love like listening to this monkey screaming and he's like shooting down all the things as they're going by. The battle scene was incredible. I actually think that might be my favorite Star Wars.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. I think Tyler says it too, right? And it also had a good bad guy. Ben Mendelsohn is a good bad guy.
Such a good bad guy.
Yeah.
And it was believable too, right? Like Kylo
Yeah.
Ren I thought was stupid. He was like a brat with a lightsaber.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't
yeah.
think Kylo Ren was ever supposed to be like he was a bad guy, but like he was never going to be the ultimate evil, right? Like that was the point of those movies is he was supposed to be a brat, it seems.
Yeah. And that order
He
was
was
like a
fighting his inner
lobotomized
demons.
empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't do it for me. Rogue One.
Also Babu Frick was in the latest season of The Mandalorian too, I
Yeah.
believe.
Was he really? Okay, I didn't watch that one.
Yes.
Have you seen
Yes.
any of the shows,
Okay.
Pat, and/or Mandalorian, Obi-Wan?
Just Kenobi.
It's
That
so
was-
good.
what'd you think of
I did
that?
like it a lot.
You
Huh?
did like it? Okay.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought I was starting off and first episode, I was like, I don't think this is going to be good at all. And then it was really good. And then what is the people that are like seeking the Jedi? Are they the seekers or the hunters? What are they called?
They're called like the sisters or whatever, and I think it's from one of the games.
Yeah. First sister, second sister. There's
Yeah, what are they called? Just not Justicars. I can't recall. The scene where Anakin fights, or Vader, I guess at that point fights Obi-Wan, and then you
Yeah.
see his face, and where the voice is going in and out between Anakin and Vader was. I will say that was like prime time right there too.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was incredible, and the character arc of the person who was a seeker or whatever, she was hunting Jedi,
Yep.
but she was actually one of the young ones or something like
Yeah,
that.
that was good. Yeah, that was a good thing too.
So good. Her character, I didn't think I was gonna like her character at the beginning, and then I really liked her character.
Well,
Inquisitors.
Inquisitor, yeah, that's it. Yeah. They were all really cool characters too.
Mhm.
The only problem I had with Obi-Wan was that they didn't tie it into episode 4 well. They like episode 4
I think they're banking on a season 2.
episode 4 Obi-Wan and Leia don't know each other. And
Yeah.
the whole fucking thing in the show is that he's looking out for her. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, but if you look at it as only the episode, watch it again and pay attention to that, and then pay attention to episode 4. It's just like, okay, he saved your life when you were a kid, and you don't fucking remember who he is. You don't know who he is.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
mean, that
That's
goes back
Apple.
to, if you think about it, though, that goes back to episode 3 when he gives him to Bane Organa. Like he knows she's going to be with Bane Organa, and then magically, like.
But they don't know it. They don't.
Yeah, she's a baby then.
Right?
Yeah.
No,
They
I
do
didn't
a
notice that
handle.
before. That's good.
No, I agree. Obi-Wan wasn't bad.
Though, what's the new one with the guy from Rogue One? What was that called?
Andor.
Andor. That's a really good one.
It's too long.
I binged it. I thought it was so good. I mean, maybe
it was
been
good.
like
It was
shorter,
good. I
but-
watched I binged it, but I think that it was a story told in 12 episodes that could have been told maybe in 8.
Yeah. Agreed. I wish they would do when we talk about taking the Star Wars universe and turning into a bunch of shows and movies, I really wish that they could have nailed it better with Lord of the Rings. Because Lord of the Rings is such a phenomenal fantasy world as well. And I think like that it did deserve more than it got out of that Amazon whatever you want to call it. It's an Amazon show, but
they blew
really
it season 1.
They blew it. It was bad. But I think and I get it. I think look, when we were you read the books and all that. I think when we were growing up too, it was just a different environment. So it's like I understand what they're trying to do in a lot of ways, and they're trying to incorporate all these side stories and like build out all these characters that are just, it's there's so much more to it now, I guess, than there wasn't in the books. And I can understand they're trying to create like 25 new characters, but like do some true character development if you're going to do that. Don't just like put out, look, I get you're owned by Amazon. I know you want a return on your investment. That's what I'm talking about too. It's just a very different times in that way. But if you're going to try and monetize it, just do it the right way, because you're going to have the longevity of the series versus just like trying to pump out a bunch of stuff. There's no depth to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on going in on Rings of Power because I'll rant for another half an hour. I wanted to rant about The Last Jedi. I don't feel as strongly about ranting about the Ring of Power. But yeah, I think it missed the mark, and I'm hoping they switch gears for season 2. They totally missed the mark.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it, to be honest.
I'll watch it because I watch it. Anything Lord of the Rings, I'll watch. But they completely blew it. I know the story of the Second Age really well. Like I know read all the appendices. I've read the Silmarillion. I've read like everything there is. So they're just completely ruining the story.
Were you a Thrones guy?
No, I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Oh, I don't.
or do.
Watch the first 6 seasons and then stop watching.
Yeah, and then they just stop.
But yeah,
I'd go on for an hour on that one.
I'm really curious though. Honestly, I'd be really curious for someone who did not watch Thrones during the boom that was Thrones to watch it now and like watch it through for the first time ever, not read anything online, not do anything, and then see what their thoughts are.
My dad has already ruined so much because he's like, I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but he just tells me stuff about it anyway. And I'm like, but Dad, I haven't watched it. He goes, too late. You're past statute of limitations. I'm telling you about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened anyways. Here, listen to me.
All right. So I already know a bunch of like spoilers. I don't even know the characters' names. I just know the actor or actress that plays them. So
it might be worth watching. I mean, I guess it wouldn't make sense to just watch 6 seasons and then just stop. But I would say, man, you talk about there's been no other show that has made me feel the way that Thrones did. I was straight up addicted to the show, but I loved it as much as I loved Lord of the Rings or Star Wars up until season probably 6.
I'm on season 7, episode 2, rewatching it right now.
Nice.
All right, so spoil some more for Pat before he goes. Make sure is there anything your dad missed that we could spoil for you for the show or anything like that?
He's told me all this stuff. Like Sean Bean dies at the end of season 1.
Well, come on, everybody knows that Sean Bean always dies.
That's why the first few seasons were so good, because they like make you fall in love with the character and then they chop his fucking head off or something
brutally too most of the time. Yeah,
that's why you get to a point with a show like that where you're like, I don't want to like this character, I don't want to like this character, because if I like this character, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
But see, I think that's what, going back to the Lord of the Rings thing, right? Is like what Thrones did a good job of is there was a lot of characters, because a lot of people like that aren't that hardcore about it. Like, I don't know, there's too much going on. I'm so lost. They went into a lot of depth with a lot of characters to where you felt you had so many characters that you loved at the same time, and you knew a lot about them without reading the books. But then, to your point, they got brutally murdered half the time. That made it rough. So anyway, well, I've got no other spoilers or other shows or anything to bring up.
All right.
Well, appreciate you jumping on today, Pat. It was fun.
All right. Yeah, this was good. I flew by. Wow.
Yeah, that's why some of these have been like 3 hours, where we've been trying to be better on our time allocation.
Meeting ever.
Yeah. Apologies for being late, by the way. I was learning about cellulitis and sepsis and all this kind of stuff at the hospital. But everything's all right. Everything's all right.
Cool. Awesome. Well, all right, everybody. Appreciate it. Pat, thanks again. I'm sure I'll talk to you either later tonight or tomorrow, or
right.
whatever.
Hey guys, good seeing you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
later.
Man.
Yep. Bye.